Welcome to the channel. My name is Cole K. Today I'll be drawing another one of my characters from my fantasy story Sparks, the character of Aramis. Aramis is a living suit of armor. His origins are unknown and he doesn't like to talk about where or how he came to be. Unlike other characters, he never existed in the original version of Sparks. He was one of the newer characters I created because a lot of the older characters from the original story were removed for various reasons, and various story elements had to be moved and changed and added, and a character like Aramis needed to be. In the world of Sparks, Aramis is this legendary hero figure, usually hired a lot by the country of Eleron, which is like the elven country like I mentioned in the Lucas and Kira video. He's incredibly powerful and strong and has a very big sword. Basically a sword that is almost as big as he is, which is kind of crazy because he's around like 7 feet tall. No, over feet tall. Yeah, it's over feet. Over 7 feet tall. His soul spirit, whatever you would call it, is kept on the mortal plane by being fused with magic energy, which kind of like hooks it to the mortal plane. This does mean, however, he needs a supply of mana from the spark, or really just the general environment, because magic energy and mana irradiates pretty much everywhere. So like most mages, he could just stand around and slowly absorb the energy and get replenished and refilled and be fine. He's very stoic and believes a lot in duty and honor. So much so when he is found by Lucas and Kira in the start of the story, he ends up in their debt because he ends up being repaired by them because his body got damaged in an attack and fight he got into. And because of that, he pretty much acts as their guard throughout the story. Aramis as a character was based off of the trope of living armor you would see in a lot of fantasy stuff. He takes the most inspiration from Alphonse from Full Metal Alchemist, as he was a character who, one of the main characters' brother, and he was like, his body was destroyed, but his soul was kept alive through, I believe it was a seal drawn with his brother's own blood on the piece of armor, so he's like a living suit of armor. It's not exactly like that for Aramis's case, but it's still a spirit, soul's body being in a living suit of armor. I also wanted the archetype of the honorable swordsman in my story. I trope because I just find it cool. I'm a simple man. I like fantasy swords and guys with giant swords that fight monsters. Ironically, I've never read Berserk, I know. Shocking. Yeah. Something to note, though, about Aramis is that he has a special ability. A few years before the story starts, Aramis was one of the few remaining warriors that survived a very deadly battle. Because of that, he was gifted a brand new ability by a mage. This ability allowed him to transform and change his shape to fit a user, even fitting to fit the combat style of the user. So say you're some type of brawler who uses the fists rather than a sword or axe, well then his sword will transform and his body will transform to give you stronger arms and maybe some like on the knuckles, maybe some like sharp spikes to give more damage to enemies in a fight. When I was designing him, I gave him a gray color scheme with a singular glowing blue eye. I made him boxy and sharp because of him being a suit of armor instead of like a robot. His design wasn't hard at all, really. The only thing I had a problem with was his hands, because of course it's the hands. I tried to give him 5 fingers, but that didn't really work out, so I decided to give him just like 3 fingers for each hand. I think that worked out. I like it. I don't mind it. Although I do think it, like, whenever someone else uses them, it will often, like, change to go with, like, 5 fingers or whatever, again, to fit the user. I mean, I'm pretty sure not most, but I think some armor do have, like, this, like, sort of glove-esque shape to the armor. I might be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure there's, like, some versions that do that, like, some pieces of, like, old armor. So, yeah. Now, as you can see, the video is not over, so there's still more to draw. So, in the first story arc of Sparks, Kira and Aramis actually do merge. Kira uses Aramis as a suit of armor. This happens when Kira and Lucas are attacked because Aramis is protecting this piece, this like ancient artifact. And Aramis wanted to protect Kira, basically grabbed her and threw her inside of him. And he basically then transformed to fit her shape to protect her even better. So when designing their combined form, I just grabbed the PNG of her from her ref and drew over the body, make sure the proportions, everything were right. Aramis's horns changed to be more like ears, so her ears could fit somewhere. His faceplate warped and changed in color to become a place to put her snout, where her snout goes. His chest plate expanded to fit, so like could fit her chest. And actually a wider waist, slightly larger hips. His sword became claws that Kira can retract and use like Wolverine, being sharper than even her own claws. But something I do think that is funny when I was drawing them, that I actually kind of like only realizing when I'm scripting this video, is that Aramis kind of has some somewhat large hips, kind of like how Kira has large hips too. I think she has wider, but I still think it's funny because I'm an immature child. I kept their color scheme the same, except for the eyes to match how Kira's eyes are, kind of a no-brainer. I put armor around her tail. I kind of imagine maybe that's like there's like flaps in the front and sides. I imagine there's one Aramis has in the back, and I imagine that extended and warped, transforming around the tail. This in my mind. The arms become less bulky and thick and kind of more thin, kind of just to fit her frame. And of course, the feet end up being like paws, which I might change in the future because it's not at that detailed that much. But it's for another day. Other than that, I'm really happy how Aramis turned out, and I'm glad I actually have a character with, 5 colors. I generally try and keep my designs to have little colors as possible, but I sometimes have the problem of giving my guys too many colors. I might go into John and Lucas's file and fix their colors a bit, but I don't know, I may or may not do that, depending on how I feel like it. Thank you guys for watching the video. It would be great if you liked and subscribed and comment if you have something to share. I'll see you guys next time. See ya!